we are running a seasonal guild leaderboard presented by CouchCat. It's not the same as the native leaderboards that you'll see for guilds in game, and we're basing it solely off of guild exp from a certain time frame. So it started February the first, I think. So this is the third week, but second progress report of the seasonal guild leaderboard, and we're just gonna hop into it. All right, everyone. Again, this is the third week of the seasonal guild leaderboard, and as you can see here, Crazyfy wanted to give a shout out to Aged. Aged recommended adding arrows and plus minuses to current positions within the board. So some things. Okay, so if you were here last Thursday, we made some predictions, and boy, did we get some wrong, but man, did we get some right. A lot of people dropped, some people maintained, and some people grew like crazy. And you're going to see that below the epic tier. But we're going to get into it, Ken. And now that I got that shout out of the way for Aged, again, thank you. I actually have notes from Crazyfy as well. So he's here in spirit, everyone.
Oh.
And just if you see your guild up here and they're dropping like a rock, you might want to kick it in the gear. And also trigger warning, because it's pretty bad. All right, so first we're going to start with the obvious here in the Celestial tier, which is the top 5 out of the 25 positions we are tracking for the seasonal guild leaderboard. And it's Beyblade. Beyblade is on top. They overtook Forest in pure guild exp, okay? I mean, honestly, so last time we were kind of saying like Beyblade's at like a stable point right now. They're coasting, they're resting. And here they go, and they overtake Forest with EXP. And look at the EXP difference, 35 mil to 26. So, but this is total. Again, this is total from the start of the seasonal leaderboard. It's not 35 mil since last week. Okay, it's just accumulation.
A bit crazy.
That would be wild, Ken.
Yeah, wasn't the normal like around 8 mil you were looking at for Babel?
Yeah. From the weekly stats. Yeah. So, shocker. Okay, so don't think they just did 35 mil. But anyway, good on Beyblade. Forest dropping to number 2 spot. We have Golden Arrows holding in the 3rd, which is amazing since they have 3. They literally have 3 members. They have Aged, Ace, and oh my god. I just commented on his profile that he's the only 3rd member, and I'm so sorry.
Seems a bit embarrassing.
Yeah, it's been embarrassing.
You're so confident.
It's it's like you have so many friends and you just kind of forget. You know what I mean? I was just kidding. Yeah, I'll figure it. It'll come to me. Bleep Bloop says I'm in GA. Well, Bleep Bloop, I wasn't thinking of you, brother.
Oh no. Yeah, sure.
we have Still Friendly in number 4, and then we have Heaven and Hell pushing up into the top 5, which is amazing because I shat all over Heaven and Hell last week saying I don't think they have it in them. But then Ken, I don't know if you saw it, but we had a coffee stream and Pratt was there, and he literally was like, "Nah, man, we're here to stay." And I was like, "Oh, well, shit." I wasn't talking shit. That was Crazyfy. That was crazy. That wasn't me.
Right. Because it's never you shit talking, of course.
Yeah, it's never me. King can confirm. Ken barely knows me. He can confirm this. Bleep Bloop says I'm gonna head out. Please, Bleep Bloop, don't leave. All right. So some quick notes from Crazyfy here. First, he wanted to note that Beyblade is back on top, and he wanted to annotate that the weekly guild stats showed they are back to 14 mil in EXP earned for the week. So that's a huge gain. Yeah. He also said week 3 of the seasonal, which is what's going on right now, they doubled the amount of EXP earned from the first 2 weeks. So something, Casua came in our Discord server and made a joke like, "Help, Alucard's making us actually do things again." And I thought it was a joke, but I guess it's for real.
There might be some truth behind it.
We might have to dig deeper here at CouchCat Enterprise. And then Crazyfy says that Golden Arrows still holding on to the 3rd place, which is impressive. It is, especially with 3 members. And then Heaven and Hell made a huge surge to make it into the top 5. And then what we both predicted, Step and Chill was knocked out of the top 5. But Crazyfy says he didn't expect, but we definitely were talking about this offline, and we were like, dude, there's no freaking way. Like these dudes are like, they're chilling. But yeah, so now that brings us over to Legendary over here, and now you'll see that Step and Chill, who used to be in the top 5, is now in the top 10. So they dropped, and they're number 1 in Legendary. We have Friendly 2 that dropped a position below, and then we have Koi or Knights who, or I mean that's not Koi. Koi is
different.
Koi is 2 leagues down actually, but we have Yi here pushing up. So pushing up, and then we have Wolfblood who stayed the same, and then Murder of the Universe dropped significantly. So this is the part that, you know, we didn't really expect Legendary to get hit so hard. I was really leaning into Epic. I thought Epic would be dropping harder than anything else. But here we go. Everyone's kind of funneling into Legendary, and this is going to be like the make it or break it point, I think, if you're looking to get the top 5 spot. If you can't hang in Legendary, you're just going to get wiped. And so for, you know, Crazyfy, he says Yi made a decent climb, and they're looking to surpass Friendly 2 next. So they're on track.
Yeah,
I mean, look at the...
There's not much of a difference there.
Yeah, look at the EXP difference too. Like that's barely anything for an active guild. So they're on their tails. Crazyfy said Murder of the Universe took a huge tumble down the list, which you can see here. Three positions down. I don't think Murder of the Universe has it in them right now. I don't think it's their season. They're on the way to Epic, brother. And then he also wanted to annotate that they don't look like a real threat, which I would agree. I completely believe. And Crazyfy still has some hope for Step and Chill and says they could climb back to Celestial next week. He's going to be tracking their EXP gain for the weekly EXP update, which weekly EXP update is a whole different thing, but it's still a good, it's a tool we use to reference more real-time stats, so to speak. So that's Legendary. Ken, is there anything that pops out to you in this section?
No, I know you made a comment about MOU or Murder of the Universe and Step and Chill. I know they're kind of PvP oriented when they have their better weeks, so I'm wondering if maybe just this recent week, some of the wars, the timing didn't allow for more wars to be finished out within the span. So I wouldn't fully count out Murder of the Universe, because if I'm remembering correctly, they're still the 3rd highest guild overall in terms of XP. Okay. And then also, just knowing that we're coming off of the event, the Valentine's mini event just kind of ended. I wondered how that will affect the numbers going forward, as you know, it's kind of like the dead period of the game before the next event gets people to play regularly again. So, yeah,
that's true. That's true. And that's also a thing, like people divert to the events itself as well. So that's a good take. I like that. I would have been like, they suck, dude. It's a dog shit guild. All right. So we're going to move on to Epic here. And Epic here, we have For the Crusade, guys. Chat, can I get a For the Crusade in chat? Just spam it. It's okay. So TPC went up 2 whole spots and overcame Beyblade 2. Which I don't think that's a surprise, really. Alucard has gone on the record saying Beyblade 2 is literally just a placeholder anyway for talent or positions, whatever. But they dropped. Gorilla Wizards dropped as well. And the Titans are holding steady. And Friendly actually grew, or not grew, but advanced a slot from Elite. So very interesting here. Yeah, For the Crusade in chat. I see it. So great on TPC. Again, they're solely PvE, so to hold on to this position in Epic, and you know they still have a lot of EXP in total to get to Legendary. But if Kin's wrong and MOU is kind of like on the downfall, then TPC could easily close that gap.
Yeah, I gotta say, for that much, for PvE only, that's actually really impressive, because as others have pointed out, Guild Wars and PvP just net so much more experience, even though it's meaner. So I really gotta respect the PvE only guilds kind of hanging up there.
Yeah, and you know, you won't be able to see this in the the native leaderboard. So that's what's kind of really special about this. What we're doing, even PVE can look cool. You know what I mean? It's really hard to do, but they're here. They're looking cool. So Crazyfy with his notes, he's very impressed with TPC overcoming Beyblade 2, and Gorilla Wizards, who are kind of like a staple in the top, right? So they're a name everyone knows, but they're both PvP guilds that were beat out by PvE. And Crazyfy also wants to note that the Titans are another PvE only guild that's holding strong. Again, they didn't drop or lose, but let's hope we can see some climbing from them to overcome Gorilla Wizards at least, because Friendly could be kicking in gears too, which usually isn't the case. Usually they're splintered between Friendly 2 and Not So Friendly and whatever, but good to see them.
Guilds.
Yeah, there's too many Friendly guilds.
I mean, it's kind of cool to see that they have one in the Celestial Legendary and Epic. It just kind of shows like how massive they are.
Yeah, they're just like throwing people at the wall to maintain, and then the final note for Crazyfy says, congrats to Friendly for climbing into the Epic tier and bumping down Koi or Knights of the Internet. So that's where they went. They're an elite, and we'll get to them soon. But Ken, any final thoughts on the Epic?
No, yeah, Epic tier looks good. As you said, I know Alucard has Babel too, so I think it's still crazy to me that they're up there while also pushing their main guild. So to see the Peaceful Crusade, I want to give them another shout out and congrats on that.
Yeah, sick job, TPC. I see Alec in chat giving him props. Yeah, Alec, you're gonna need something too by the end of this end of the stream, brother. Rip Elysium. But yeah, for the Crusade. All right, so we're now into Elite. This is where we predicted so Rare and Elite and all the way up to Epic we would see the most names shift. Of course, we have been wrong so far because Legendary has had the most shift. Well, actually, Rare kind of too. But anyway, this is the most volatile section, Elite and Rare. So Fred, stop, dude. Fucking Fred just killing Alec in chat, dude. So
whips.
yeah. So bringing in number 1 into the Elite spot, or the Elite rankings, we have Knights of the Internet. They dropped from Epic. We have Ornate Garden, 4 whole slots forward. Okay, 4 positions forward.
Oh,
it's insane. It's literally insane. So congrats to KC. I saw you were in chat earlier. Unreal. We have the Cult dropping a spot. I predicted this. Fred said I was wrong, but Cult not going to make it. We have Genesis here. I don't even know who Genesis is. And then we have Russians here. I don't know who they are either, but they didn't lose or gain. People just kind of hopped over them. So
yeah, I'm not too familiar with the bottom 2 either. So
yeah,
cool for them.
Yeah, cool for them. But man, who are they? And then Fred says you have no idea. Okay, Fred. Well, you abandoned them for Beyblade, so I'm waiting. All right, so
no, I think Fred's actually back in the Cult.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Fred, are you back in Cult?
At least I feel like I saw him with a tag. We
have 5 wars basically won. Dude, he's back in Cult?
Yeah.
Ken, I'm just stunned.
Right.
I'm stunned, Ken.
Hey, people are free to move and leave as they please, right?
You're right. And Chul says back in Cult. Yeah, Chul is probably, he feels betrayed because you left Beyblade behind. I can't believe you. Okay, so Crazyfy's notes, Ornate Garden coming out of nowhere and taking the 2nd place of Elite tier, because for those of you who remember, Ornate Garden was all the way in Rare, chilling like a villain. So they jumped tremendously. But they were the first place of Rare tier last time we showed this. So huge climb. And Knights of the Internet, they're very close to taking their spot back in Epic. If you look at the EXP between Friendly and Knights, he's not wrong. So if somehow Knights are wanting to grow or even paying attention to this leaderboard, they can retake Friendly. So that's really interesting to see here. Ken, is there anything you want to say about Elite before moving on to Rare?
I was surprised to see Knights of Internet still up there. I know that for a long time it seemed like it was on the downtrend. I know Hira even moved over to Babel, which I was happy for to be like in a more active guild. people she's more friendly with. But so yeah, to see them still up there is pretty interesting to me, and kind of shows that I don't really pay attention too much to what other guilds are doing, I suppose.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Ken. All right, so here we go. Now we're moving to rare territory. This is amazing because most of these guilds are unknown.
Yeah, I will
besides
tell you
Fairytale.
that I think I know the bottom three: Rain Factory, Fairy Tale, and
Yeah.
Inglesmond.
So Engelsmond, we actually got that cleared up. It's part of another guild, Marken. Yeah, there you go.
Or Marken or Marsh. No, I don't know how it's pronounced.
It's something like that. Marken. It's German, right? German players. But they're two guilds that belong to the same overarching. Fairy Tale, that's an oldie. Rain Factory, I think, is pretty new.
Yeah.
Order of Ramos is pretty new, and Solid Step, I don't remember. But Solid Step is a new addition to this completely. Just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, plus 5 positions seems like a
Yeah.
good come up.
Yeah. So we'll get into it. Solid Step is taking the number one spot in rare. And under them, we have Order of Ramos, and who dropped significantly from elite. We have Rain Factory, who gained a spot out, within rare, and then Fairy Tale's on the decline and Engelsmond's on decline. I think they're going to be washed out pretty soon here. Rain Factory could maintain. I feel like they'd be a lot safer when they hit 1 mil EXP. But yeah, Order dropped hard, like severely hard. They dropped all the way from elite. But Solid Step, apparently Solid Step was floating around below the top 25, which again is what we're monitoring here. The top 25 guilds and their guild EXP. So Solid Step was just waiting in the wings, and they popped up and even overtook Rain Factory. So very, very, I won't say yeah, I guess it is kind of volatile here, because we're not giving insight to who's below the top 25. So it kind of makes it interesting that anyone could really pop into rare and upset rare at any week, so to speak. But so for Crazy Five's notes, again, he says Solid Step was just outside of the top 25. They were actually 26. So they went from 26 all the way up to the 20th position. So that's, congrats to them.
Impressive, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. And then everything he's talking about I already mentioned. Oh, and then here's the sad news, chat. Can I get your lighters? Give me an F in chat. Elysium completely knocked out of rare. Yeah, Elysium's gone, folks. So if you see Alec, please buy him a beer. Pat him on the back. Yeah, F in chat. Thank you, chat. Thank you, Card. Thank you, Axis. It's sad to see. But Ken, do you have any words for rare?
I want to say in common, I guess, on Rain Factory and Solid Step. I feel like those are two guild tags that I've been seeing pop up in global a bit more often, and even in the advertisement chats for recruitments. So I think that's exciting. I always like when newer players are kind of heading a new guild charge and trying to get their guild to grow and stuff. So I'm curious to see how they'll be in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah. So rare and elite will definitely have the most shuffle. So it's gonna be, it's what keeps it fun, and hopefully it stays that way. So I have some closing thoughts from Crazy Fi here. Ken, feel free to hop in if anything piques your interest. But the first closing thought, he said there's about a 34 million difference in guild EXP between the first place and the 25th place within our leaderboard. So let that sink in.
And this is for 3 weeks recording now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's a shit ton of EXP. And he wants to note that it's a huge spread. So that's a lot of climbing. And it makes sense where, things would probably start to slow down around the legendary tier. But yeah, it's going to be hard for, I think, people to burst into a celestial if you're not serious about it. Moving on, he wanted to note that the last place of Celestial and first place of Legendary, very tightly contested. The EXP is, while it's large, it's not in difference between those two guilds. And the same goes for, I you would even say the last place of legendary in the first place of epic. 7 mil to 4, that's pretty big. But when one of them is already on the way down or in the decline,
Mhm.
maybe not within the week's time. I don't know. I think the gap will close, but they're the first and last places of this guild leaderboard in certain areas very neck and neck.
Right.
And Crazyfy, see if you believe this, Kin. I think the majority of us will, but Crazyfy believes that the top two guilds, so Beyblade and the Forest, they're going to be essentially untouched for the rest of this season. He's calling it now. So season 1, he's calling Forest and Beyblade number 1 and number 2, and pretty easy to see with the guild gap or the EXP gap between GA. But yeah, do you
I
think Forest
I
has
def
any chance?
I definitely agree with Crazy Fi. I feel like the first two are definitely cemented. Um, I don't know how to comment on the Forest overtaking. I still think at this point Babel is the much clearer active guild. They've got a lot more people who are dedicated
Yeah.
and focused, and you can kind of see the sentiment echo out that they take pride in taking that position or pushing ahead or grinding.
Hmm.
And then remarking on the legendary and celestial tiers, I feel like in those 10 positions, you can already kind of see that most of these or all of these guilds, I should say, are dedicated with their PvP endeavors. So for sure, it would be harder for PvE guilds to kind of break out on top. And I still think that because of the nature of guild wars and stuff, we could see some shuffling around with, I want to say, even the legendary tier. Some of them might step up, get into celestial tier, or just shuffle around in legendary itself. Really just depends on week by week who wants to go out bully some inactive accounts for GXP and then all that jazz.
Yeah, those are good takes. And that actually kind of made me think of something with the whole, like, if you're leaning into PvP, you have the advantage. And while I feel really strongly for TBC and the Titans kind of being stable PvE right now within the leaderboard as a whole, that's not to
Mhm.
say a PvP guild couldn't couldn't come in and shuffle things up and earn EXP at a rapid rate if they're, say they're dedicated, they're PvPers. Maybe it's a celebrity guild as we coined them. So there's an advisor or a mod leading the fray. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I think you're right. Those who lean heavy in PvP have the advantage, but I mean, I'm interested to see if there's going to be any new faces that are purely PvP to shake things up. I don't. Is Ornate Garden PvP? They have to
I
be,
don't know
right?
enough about them. I couldn't
Chat,
comment on that.
chat. What's Ornate Garden? Are they PvP? Because I mean, they drop. I mean, they climb 5 spots. There's no way, right? They're not vegetarians. Chat will tell us soon.
Vegetarians.
Yeah, they're not. It's the
I
old
just
joke until I say it less because I don't really PvP anymore. So now I make fun of
no,
myself.
that's fair. Now, when you pose a question about if any new PvP guilds would shake up the scene and like break up
Hmm.
into the top 25, I think I find myself having a hard time envisioning that. I feel like the people who are dedicated to PvP kind of already have their set guilds that they're dedicated to and want to stick around for. I
Hmm.
know some people do from time to time, like do contracting where they'll join a guild to help out with wars and stuff. But I don't know if contracting people just to push ahead in terms of GXP is what some guilds are looking for. I think it's more for like when the war is closer and they need that little boost, they'll come in. But again, I think PvP guilds are mostly set, but I still do think the legendary tier can shuffle around, and I can picture any of them hopping into the top 5, depending on how much they grind and how much the celestial tier guilds can chill.
Okay. Yeah. And just real quick, chat says they're PvE, so that's insane.
Okay.
So
Oh yeah.
is Epic going to be mostly PvE guilds? That's going to be like, is that where they'll settle with the EXP difference? That could be hilarious. And you do bring up a good point. I know some mercenary players that are just insane. So I
Mhm.
wonder if guilds even know this is happening, right? If they would resort to like breaking up the EXP gap with using outside sources like mercenaries, like Satan Sama or some shit. I know he was a huge mercenary back in the day.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, those are good takes. Yeah, legendaries definitely. I mean, look at the decline already, right? So we'll definitely see who overtakes Murder of the Universe, but it's going to take a minute to catch
Yeah,
up.
there's still
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of a big
TPC
gap
is not
between
going to.
Epic.
Yeah, yeah, and chat out of 10. I just want to close this out and we'll move on. But out of 10, do you think Elysium will ever come back into the top 25? And I'll start with you. Out of 10, what's
Out
the
of 10.
yeah?
I'll see. Now I feel bad because I actually really don't know how much XP they are behind. I want to say if they're like just in the 26th place, that's an easy possibility.
Oh my god, Axis says I hope they won't.